Joining us now, former campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, Robbie Muck. I'm going to flip that construction. I'm going to say Donald Trump has never been in the same or never spoken to Kamala Harris. He's only been in the same room during a State of the Union. Is that an advantage for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump? Everybody he's debated in the past, he's known pretty well in terms of a general election.
Well, in 2016, Hillary really hadn't spent that much time with him before. But I think something that's true, regardless of how much time you spent with Donald Trump at all, is you never know which Donald Trump is going to show up to the debate. So, for example, the Donald Trump that we saw show up to the debate with Biden was pretty restrained. He was pretty disciplined. He was on message. The Donald Trump we saw show up at debates in 2020 and 2016 was at times incredibly unhinged. So I think it's a bit of an advantage for Harris for the reasons that Vaughn was just mentioning. She is an incredibly experienced prosecutor. I think this is a good forum for her. It's high stakes, so she needs to do a good job. It's not like this is going to be easy by any stretch, but I think she's set up well given her skill set. I think what's going to be hard for her that's a little different is breaking through with her own message, because Trump can be so belligerent, so poorly behaved. That can become the story. And she needs to show up and make sure that she can drive her own message through all that bombast and that noise that he's likely to bring to this.
What are the points that you want to hear her make? What is out there, or what does she have in her policy arsenal that you think she'd be best served to focus on during this debate?
Yeah, well, I can't remember who said it before, but one of the key pieces of the strategy for her so far has been distinguishing herself as a change agent. She talks a lot about turning the page. I think she's done a good job on that, and I think that's in a pretty good place. The next step you can see the campaign trying to take here is to say that she's on your side. One of the things we talked a lot about in 2016 was how Donald Trump wasn't really a billionaire. It was all a fraud. The campaign this time is saying, yeah, he's a billionaire and he's on the side of other billionaires. And Kamala Harris is on the side of the middle class. And that is a much harder point to drive through in this debate, again, because of all the chaff he's going to throw up in the air to try to distract from that. So if I were her going into this, I want to tell a story. I want to drive a hard contrast with Donald Trump, that he's going to go to the White House and serve billionaires and elitists like himself. He's certainly going to serve himself. He's not going to serve you. That's going to be a little bit more complicated for her. And she's going to have to do some of that storytelling that Vaughn was talking about, because people don't know her as well as, say, a Joe Biden or a Hillary Clinton.
Carlos Lozada, who's writing in an opinion column for the New York Times, argues that Kamala Harris's toughest opponent on debate night is Joe Biden. He says the most complicated antagonist will be one that she can't criticize, question, or contradict, one that she must both deflect and defend. Harris is both prosecutor and defendant, reformer and institutionalist, contrast and continuity, and that is a harder sell, he argues. He then says it's tricky to campaign in a new way when you also represent the old way, to turn the next page when you helped write the previous chapter. Is it going to be difficult to her to separate herself from Joe Biden while also defending the record?
When you're in the room with a candidate doing debate prep, so much of this is psychological. It's like hyping up for for sports. If I were in the room with her, I would say, don't ever look at this as some kind of disadvantage. Look at it as an opportunity. So I think there's a lot about the Biden administration that serves to communicate about that contrast I was just talking about. But she also doesn't need to be shackled to what Biden has done. We already saw yesterday she rolled out policy that was different than what Biden had previously proposed. So I see this as an opportunity and a strength. If she's defensive about Biden, if she's sort of dwelling or trying to weave in and out of particulars of this policy or that or this statistic and that, that's time wasted. That's time that advantages Donald Trump. I would be looking for healthy, positive ways to draw a contrast with Biden, that new direction that's uniquely hers, because that's only going to help her. But that's going to be hard to do because, as you said earlier, Trump's going to just try to hang a bunch of statistics around her neck. I don't think she'll get bogged down on that, but she certainly, can't allow him to do that.
Robbie Muck, really good to have you. Thanks for joining us today.